Okay guys, we're working top position mount. First thing we want to do is stabilize this position and maintain it. So how do we do that? Just like any other position from the top, we want to give them as much weight as possible and close as much space as possible. So our default mount is just going to be to lay out on our partner and hook his legs with our feet, put our hands out front. So I'm here, I'm going to lift my legs off the ground and hook if possible. And I'm going to get off my hands, because if I'm on my hands, all the weight is transferred through my posts. So I'm going to lift up here and get off. I want to make sure that I don't stay narrow with my arms. I'm going to stay wide. My feet are off the ground, my hands are off the ground, and this is about as heavy as I can be. If I want to get a little heavier, I can just do a little back extension and really applies a lot of weight. Okay, so this is one of the best ways to maintain the mount, giving all your pressure that you can. All right, problem is from here, your partner is going to feel all that weight and pressure, so he's going to do a couple of things. He's going to try to trap an arm. Okay, so make sure that you're out wide. Never allow him to grab your arm here beside your side. So if he does this, you're just going to pull the arm out and put it back. Always stay wide. The other thing your partner is going to try to do is push your knee, escape the hook, and go to half guard like we talked about in other series. So as soon as your partner reaches down with his hand, you've got to come down and pull the hand up. And this is going to help maintain this position. Go ahead and do it again. Here to here. If he traps my arm, I'm going to pull the arm out. If he grabs my leg, I'm going to pull that up. Okay? It's the best way to maintain the mount from the seated position laying down. Another way to maintain mount is just to sit up here. Okay? If you're going to be in the seated low mount, you got to make sure that your feet are tight, controlling the hips. If they're wide, you're going to get a lot of hip movement. So bring them under as much as you can. Even if they're all the way under, that's even better. Eliminates a little bit of the hip bump. Okay? And then you're going to sit back as deep as you can here. Okay? This is a little bit awkward when he starts to create movement, so you've got to be in good balance here. And what you've got to make sure you always maintain is your arms and your limbs. So if he grabs my arm, I know I'm going to go for a ride on this way. So if that happens, you got to break grip right away and just stay in a neutral position. Okay? Like we talked about in our other series, to escape this position, Jeremy can push here. So if that happens and he turns, I'm off balance. So as soon as I see his hands come down, I'm going to pull the hands out. Okay? Or come out like this. Okay, that's one way of defending that. When the hands come together, just break the grips and bring them to the outside here, like this. Okay? Another great way to maintain this position, if his hands are here, you can reach for a cross choke. Once I reach for a cross choke on either side, okay, Jeremy's going to probably start to defend. He'll bring his hands up. Okay, then I can bring my seated position back. Okay, so all the weight's really through my hips, but your hands are here just as post and balance. And lastly, the high mount. How can we maintain the high mount here? Okay, best way to maintain the high mount is, again, keeping them tight with your legs. So if Jeremy's arms are out wide, it's going to widen my base. I'm going to bring his arms in here and squeeze tight. Notice my ankles are in tight too. I'm going to squeeze here, and I'm just going to maintain balance through the center, and my arms are going to be used for post. Okay? For Jeremy to escape this, he's going to try to use the hip mobility, and I'm going to just try to maintain position high and not allow him to be on top of my legs. Okay? One way that I've seen this successful is to bring your feet up slightly here, okay, and tuck them. Right? Another way you can do that is if he does get on top of your calf, you've got to circle out right away. Okay, so he gets on top of the calf, post your hands and circle by pivoting off your knee. All right, so just real quick recap. Default mount, every time you get a mount, go ahead and start in this position. Lay down, grapevine, put your hands out, little back extension. If he tries to escape by grabbing the arm, you're just going to bring the arm up, put it back on the ground. If he grabs the leg, break the grip, reestablish your base. From the seated mount, transfer the weight through the hips, keep your feet tight. Knees can be wider, but your feet have to be tight. Okay? If he goes for the escape, break the hands apart. Okay, which shouldn't be that hard. If that doesn't work, reach right away for the cross choke. Okay, which is going to help keep Jeremy from pushing on my hips. From the high mount, okay, try to bring the arms in. Here, it's going to help me stabilize this position more, and it minimizes Jeremy's movements. and power through his upper torso. Okay, if he does get on top of my calf, I'm going to put my hands down and I'm going to pivot on my knee and clear my ankle. Do it again. Okay, stay in the high mount. All right.